the minister wouldn't have sent a representative for her confirmation when she was appointed the minister. She wouldn't have done that. And security is the main concern or the main purpose of government as stated in our constitution. So if the minister is in town and she refuses to honor this invitation, honestly, or neglect this invitation, honestly, we are not going to take it kindly. We are talking about security now. But for us, we will still go ahead because it's not personal. If you are to be appointed as the minister now, I would have been happy since you are here to tell us what we want to hear. But that explanation, I don't know what it is. As long as the minister is in town, for her to disregard this our invitation, which is not an invitation by Mohammed Ali Ndume, but by the Senate to discuss the matter that every Nigerian is concerned about. I'm sure if she's not safe, she would be here. But they always think that they are safe because they have this security apparatus around them that will personally take care of their security, while in her state, in Kaduna, today, more than 50 people are still in the hands of captives. If to say her child or her brother or somebody related is among those that are there, I'm sure she will be here. So get that back to the minister. This information will collect from you, but will give us another date for her to come here and explain to us. But if you will give us the necessary information that we need, so be it. But this problem of this insecurity is so severe, you know. And it all centers and boils down to lack of finance. That is what the agencies are telling us. And you, the agency that is responsible, and the president has said this several times, he has given approval, even for those things that you are yet to bring before the National Assembly. That is the supplementary budget. President told the Senate that he is willing to give the armed forces whatever they need in order to address the security problem in this country. And here you are, when we invite you to come and tell us what is going on, you the PAMSEC will send, the minister will send the PAMSEC, and she's in town. That is unacceptable, honestly. But we will not say, okay, because the minister is not here, we'll cancel this interaction. No, we want to hear from you. All we are concerned about, even if it's the acting director or another assistant director that will give the Nigerian Armed Forces what they need, so be it. But the excuse, Sinkafi, that she exigency, what exigency is more than security of this country? So it. Day before yesterday, my village was attacked. And that is because the army didn't even have ammunition. And why don't they have the ammunition? It's because you don't give them the money. And when you ask here, let's solve this problem, you send somebody as if it's a minor problem. Anyway, sorry, distinguished colleagues, this thing is very annoying sometimes, you know. The soldiers in the front there, when they attacked Minok, the problem they had there was because they didn't have the communication, they didn't have the cover, they didn't have, in fact, what happened really was that they ran out of ammunition. These boys decided to deliberately, they know that the Nigerian Armed Forces have limited arms. So when they attacked the fire, when they exhausted their ammunition, they had to take cover, they ran away, and they killed 30 of them. Out of 50-something, including their CEO. And it's an open land, there was nowhere they could run to. It's very unfortunate. We are representative of the people. No, I hope you people will be concerned. Maybe you are concerned. No. You people are not concerned. If you are concerned, you will be here. All of you will be here. This is a serious matter.
There is to show what has been appropriated for the two operations, namely Operation Lafia Dole and Operation Hadarin Daji. If you look at 2019, 75 billion was appropriated Sorry, which document are you referring to, please? Page 1. No. Okay, and give them this. It has been, share it. The page 1 is here. We have corrected it. The new page 1 is here. I've just made some, I recognize some amendments that we did. They are still working on this in the office. So we are going to submit to the Secretariat. But this, essentially for the 2 operations, if you look at it, serial number 1, 2019, 75 billion was appropriated. The same was released 100%. If you look at the second line there was even a supplementation from the service-wide vote, apart from the appropriation, which was released 100%. Number 3 there is for the Hadarin Daji, 2.5 billion, which was released 100%. Number 4 there, 2020, 75 billion was appropriated, 74.999, only I think 2 naira was. So almost 100% was released. The current year, 100 billion has been appropriated. We have released 19.7 for the first quarter. Just yesterday, we have released 19.95. It's not there. 19,950 million. Yesterday, just yesterday. That is not there. We didn't put it because it was just released yesterday. Yes, for the second quarter. So I believe we are on course as far as releases on these operations are concerned.
Distinguished colleagues, from the defense headquarters, from the CDS specifically, if you say you have made a release of 100%, here is a letter indicating that from the time of the introduction of Operation Lafia Dole, they have a shortfall outstanding of 50 billion. So if you are paying them 100%, how come do they have a shortage of 50 billion? They wrote a letter to me here requesting us to follow up with you. Distinguished colleagues, I hope you see.
Let me explain.
The discrepancy.
I can explain
when you
that.
say you have made 100%.
I can explain that.
Okay.
No. Same letter, it differs. They may require certain funds, but as far as appropriation is concerned, we have released what has been appropriated to them.
May not be far from the position that the military is also taking. But in accounting, we always try to tie request to time. If they are writing us letter, they should be able to say, as at so date, when monies ought to have been released to us, those monies have not been released. You know, that's the only way we can probably pin maybe fault or whatever to the ministry. But if releases are as appropriated, and those releases are tied also to quarterly releases, you know, and what they have done as at yesterday, I think is close to whatever this House has provided for them to manage. So the military and the ministry will also, maybe with us seated, that is why we are the People's House, should be in a position to reconcile these figures, knowing that the problem of security as at today is an emergency. And in economics, we always have scale of preference as well. We should make sure that this occupies top priority in our spending. And I think the ministry will have to also align to this thinking, as you have rightly put it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues and officials of the Ministry of Finance. Mr. Chairman, I want to think that these figures, if they don't tell lie, then we must have some little circumspection about what we think should be, because what we think should be and what is are two different things.
Yes.
Now, if as National Assembly we have appropriated this amount of money, and as ministry, the figures before us show that they have complied completely with the releases and the rest of them, then I think we have a responsibility here of sitting down with the Army and then telling us what they require outside what has been appropriated here to make them succeed in the fight against insurgency and the insecurity that we have in this country. Like you said, this thing is not personal. So far, I think by their performance, it means that what is available to them here is not enough to do the job.
That's it.
And so all of us must sit down together and agree on what is required to do this job with the assurance that if this thing is provided, this job must be done. Because I think the issue of insecurity has become a recurring decimal and an embarrassment to this country. And if the stories that we hear every day from all parts of Nigeria is anything to go by, it is only a matter of time that this system that we call government of Nigeria will collapse. And I think that nobody in any position of authority today will want to accept that Nigeria will collapse on his head. So, Mr. Chairman, my own advice here is that we should go back to the basics and come up with an implementable resolution that will help us solve the problem of insecurity in this country.
Is to the minister as represented by the permanent secretary. There is need for clarification here because the summary of appropriation that we have for 2019, 2020, and 2021 reflects different figures. The capital for 2019 was only 19.6. And then here you are making releases in excess of over 80 billion. There is need for you to explain whether or not this summary table that you have submitted represents extra budgetary allocation, or whether it is the main appropriation. And that is one. Two, you need also to tell us the purpose for which this money, because what is here is just a block figure. What was that figure meant for? The first release, the second release, and so on. Because there is need for us to know the object, because definitely it was an AIE. So what was the purpose of that AIE? What was it supposed to cover? You need to explain to this table so that we can understand and synergize with you going forward. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Yes, sir. Budget, I also saw disparity in the personnel and overheads. But then coming in here, I saw it blocked releases. And I said, where does, how can we comprehend the two? If you look at 2019, it's different capital, 2020, different capital, but what we are having here is in surplus. And the enemy is in surplus, means that the Army, apart from the fact that there had been a break, because we have new service chiefs now, the Army should tell us what they have utilized this fund for. And then, of course, the ministry should be able to tell us, when we're releasing this fund, we're releasing it for a particular item. And so staying here without getting the minister, and since the permanent secretary has the capacity, he should either tell us or go back home and furnish us with requisite appropriate information to enable us to make reasonable decisions. Thank you.
Such that the military has resources at the required time in the quantum that meets the level of appropriation. The level of document we have here, I think the Permanent Secretary is yet to do justice to the document that he has given to us. For example, we have a summary page. Hello, sir. This summary page that shows the disbursement by appropriation in 2019, 2020, and 2021. That summary tends to suggest that disbursement relative to appropriation is good, based on resources that is available to the federal government. But the annotated submissions here, which details out the timing of disbursement, we need you, Mr. Permanent Secretary, to bring a correlation between your summary and how the summary was derived. Hello, sir. We need to see how this summary was derived. You need to speak to this document for 2019 and take us to the page where the schedule of disbursements for 2019 took place. At what time, what date, for what purpose, to which agency. You need to help us to understand so that we will not go out of this meeting still asking the same questions that we ought to have asked you. Mr. Chairman, I would like to crave your indulgence that we allow the Permanent Secretary to exhaustively discuss his submission so that we can have information to work with.
Thank you, Ndume. He cannot do that without the presence of the others, particularly the minister, the chief of army staff, and other people that are affected. So what I'm suggesting now for us to agree as a committee going forward, you have made the observation of those things that you need to speak to. We will now ask the minister, despite the fact that this is a Senate, we will concede our position and status to tell us, to ask her to give us a date when she will be here. We ask the Army, Chief of Army Staff and other service chiefs to come so that we will sit, all of us together, to now discuss this matter that is urgent, important. Because this letter that I got from the Army headquarters was delivered to me yesterday. As at yesterday, they were complaining about no funds. But coincidentally, you know, the release was made yesterday. So you can see the two. And besides that, they cannot spend money out of appropriation. These operational funds that they gave a summary of is for Operation Lafia Dole.
Extra budgetary.
No, it's not extra budgetary. It's in the first line charge, isn't it? But then, even now, I still begin to query some figures, because here you have in 2019, from your record, it's 75 billion, but I know from appropriation it should be about 100 billion. So you see, these figures do not really tally until all of you are here. So we want you to give us a date, to give the clerk a date, and provide, but before then, distinguish, if that is what we need to do now, we need to do it quickly, and let them come forward. Not later than Tuesday. The ministers should choose a date between now and Tuesday, and everybody should be here, including the director of budget, because the supplementary budget is coming, and we need to discuss this issue comprehensively. The persons concerned, the service chiefs, will be here, and you will be here, and let's address these issues squarely. And as I said before, this is not personal, but I feel it personally because now I've been thinking of where to go. Honestly, I'm thinking of where to go. My father was in Maiduguri. I have to take he was in the village in Goza, but because he's elderly and sick, and maybe he cannot run, I have to move him out to Maiduguri. Even Maiduguri now is not safe. And when you talk to Army, it's money. And who is in charge of money? Ministry of Finance. So we will now ask you to go back, but you can answer say some things, few summary things, then go back and ask the minister. But please, tell the minister we are serious about this matter. It's not issue. I'm not saying that she cannot come here without you, because you are the PAMSEC and you will be here. But certain things, decisions that need to be taken, you know, it must be in the presence of the minister. And I think we have Minister of Budget,
Yes. No. She is doubling.
Okay. The Director of Budget, DG Budget, should be here. And whoever has anything to do with releases and the funding of the armed forces should also be here. As I said, you will get back to us, then we'll notify distinguished colleagues. Maybe you'll have to hang on for inconvenience yourself and wait up, because we may call you anytime for this. Anytime they are ready, we'll call, get back here to discuss this. Okay, sir. Okay. Okay. Give them time. Yeah, up to Tuesday. Up to Tuesday. But we can take Wednesday if you want. Tuesday is your cancel day, so you can't even make it.
Tuesday is better.
Tuesday. So, Wednesday is cancel day. So, tell the minister that this is serious. She should be here.
PAMSEC also spoke on the supplementation from for them to also break it down. How much was released from the service-wide vote?
The releases that you make from Operation Lafia Dole, we have now this figure. This is the first time we are even having it, because all the while we've been trying to find out how much has been released for Operation Lafia Dole, and we have been just hitting the brick wall. Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a comment, please. Our knowledge and understanding of the finances of the military to be cumulative. He is the accounting officer. He is the accounting officer of the ministry. He has brought some documents here, and I must confess to you, I don't understand this document. And that's why I plead your indulgence to allow the accounting officer to speak to the documents before us. At least we will leave this meeting with some level of understanding, against which the follow-up meeting on Monday or Tuesday will be additive. Because if we meet here again, we will have to start from where we are. That is the purpose of this meeting. This is the purpose of this meeting.
Okay.
That's what he should speak to.
Because the figures you are giving us,
correct,
and the figures I have from the service chiefs are different.
correct.
If you are talking about funding them 100%, and as at yesterday they are talking about insufficient funding, not even about releases, because the releases that you have made yesterday is different from the shortfalls that they have complained about. But before that, I would also want you, before Tuesday, to submit to the clerk a soft copy of the I would make like PAMSEC. Want to have a soft copy of the GIFMI's AIE document that you have just submitted, because some of us, we have some experts here that can do analysis for us, and you guys, you can see.
Speak, Mr. You should speak to this document.
Anyway, so if you can, well, we have issues now. Let's just give us 5 minutes, a few minutes to resolve. That on the date you give us, that's Tuesday. You come with the minister, with all these explanations, with the accounting officers. You have gotten what we need. We will ask the service chiefs to also come, That way we'll close ourselves in one place and then talk to one another. I think that's it. But this message from us should go to this minister again, that her letter be serious about this issue of security. And it's not personal. And honestly, the Senate is not going to take it kindly, and I'm sure Nigerians are not going to take it kindly when issue of security that is affecting almost everybody is taken, without this thing with the ministry. If you remember, this is the first time the Committee on Army is inviting the Minister of Finance. We don't invite people anyhow. So we expect that the Minister of Finance should honor and respect the Senate. Honestly, we are not happy, the Senate is not happy, especially when it comes to this invitation that has to do with the security of this country, that everybody is concerned about. Honestly, you have to get this message to the minister that we are not happy. Thank you.